Well, here we go with this week's Phil Steele Plus tour with selections. 4 big selections for you this week. And we'll start off with one of your favorites from the year. It's the computer wanted to use but wouldn't let him play. And that's gone 5-2 this year. And hopefully we'll make it 6-2 with this one. And we're going to start out with the Iowa and Missouri games. So we got Missouri on the left over here. We got Iowa on the right. But the main focus of this one is the computer selection. Now, as you know, Inside the Press Box having a pretty good year this year, hitting basically 60% on the season. But here is a play from Press Box, and it is not a best bet. I wouldn't let the computer use it, but the computer said you got Iowa +3. The computer says Iowa wins this game 22-19 outright. I just wanted to limit the amount of selections in Press Box. The Press Box having a pretty good postseason so far with the selections 5-1. So I didn't let the computer use it. So he's angry again, as usual. And the computer's having a pretty good year, as always. But this is what you get with Inside the Press Box. You get the complete write-up over here. This is my write-up on the game, everything you want to know about it. You get the computer's forecast. Here's yards rushing, yards passing, total yards, the points on the game. All that's available. This, of course, is included here with Phil Steele Plus. And if you sign up for PressBox, you get sign up for PressBox for the rest of the year. You get Phil Steele Plus through the Super Bowl. So that's a great value as it is. So the computer likes Iowa by 3 in this one. Also, we take a look at one more thing here. We'll go to the schedule with numbers. And when you look at the schedule with numbers, we can come across the board here and see that the plus-minus power ratings have Iowa -4. Iowa's -27 on the year in conference play. Missouri's -33. So that should be about a pick 'em game, and Iowa is a 3-point underdog. So take the 3-point underdog, Iowa, +3 over Missouri. Remember, to get to your schedule with numbers, you just go here to your Phil Steele Plus menu, click on the schedule predictor, and then click here to download it, and that's your entire season is right there. I'll have more on how to use that in a little bit, but that's where you go to get that. So your first play, your first official play, is the computer wanted to use, but I wouldn't let it, and that is Iowa +3 over Missouri. And speaking of Press Box, a couple of notes for you. I've got a special for you for Inside the Press Box. For the postseason. There are still 3 bowl issues left through the title game. There are 4 NFL playoff issues, so right there, that's $140 value. Right now, if you go to the website, it is just $69. And so if we go to the website, go to Phil Steele Plus, go to the store, you can see here is your college edition of Inside the Press Box for this week. I'll have more on that in just a minute. Here's your NFL edition for Inside the Press Box for this week. Here's your postseason. As you see, it's $69. Type in the code word Expert Wins, and you get it for $59. $10 off. That gets you the entire postseason. 4 playoff issues, 3 bowl issues, $140 value, all for just $59. This also, by the way, we have got the 25s magazine available, the Super VIP bundle and the VIP bundle. Pre-orders taken available right now. Make sure you check that out. And here is your everything that's available right now at the Phil Steele Plus store. Close out of that, come back to here. And one more thing I wanted to point out, and that is the battle is on. And, you know, it looked like it would be a complete blowout because the computer does so well. But I'm right back in the mix here. On the season, best bets. A nice 4-0 week for the best bets last week. 3-0 and then 1-0 in the FCS. Computer went 0-1, so it was a 4-1 week for Press Box in the second edition of the Press Box newsletter. This week's edition that's up right now, you get 14 bowl games for just $15. That's 14 bowl games. There are 4 best bets available, 2 from me, 2 from the computer, and it could be the ones that determine how it goes. Because look at these records, 36-24 for the computer. By the way, the computer wants me to let you know that if I would have let him use the 5-2 games that I didn't, he would right now be 41-26 on the season. I'm 37-28, but there has been 6 FCS best bets for the playoffs. So I'm actually 43-29 on the season. It's going to be really interesting to see who wins, me or the computer. It's a big battle every year, and we are battling it out. But combined, the record's 79-53-1 for the season. I'll take that any year. I'll take that record. That is a really good record. And by the way, if you want this single edition, it's $20 right now. I showed you where to go. Use the code word BATTLE24, and you get it for just $15. You get all 14 bowl games, Computer's Forecast, My Forecast, 4 best bets, all for just $15. Use the code word BATTLE24. All right, let's get on to your next game. And this is a last 4 weeks AGG play. We're going to take a look at Baylor against LSU. We're going to put Baylor on the right, and we're going to put LSU on the left. And for this matchup, I love, especially bowl time, this is important. See how the teams are doing currently over the last 4 weeks. And over the last 4 weeks, LSU is playing to a level of 111.2. Baylor's actually playing to a level of 116.5. So that's nice. Also, LSU missing numerous players for this game. They've lost 9 players to the portal. They've had 4 more players opt out. Both offensive tackles are out. Their tight end is out for the game. Meanwhile, Baylor is pretty much at full force. Baylor's only -1.5 in this one. And here's something I want to point out. Look at Baylor's first 6 games of the year. Take a look at their point total here. Baylor in the first 6 games of the year was averaging 28 points per game. Now, over the last 6 games, they're actually averaging 41.3 points per game. So they're a team that's playing great football. Meanwhile, LSU put a lot of points up early. They're averaging 34 points per game in the first 6 games. However, the last 6 games, just 24 points per game. So you've got a team that's playing much better right now. And if we take a look here, if you go to the ATS logs, we have ATS logs for the NFL. You can go and get those. The win-loss tells you whether the team won or lost against the spread. Here's the spread. Here's the score, and there's the total for the NFL. You could get that for the FCS right here. Nobody has FCS lines, right? We track them. And you also get the college ones. And if you take a look at the college, Baylor on a nice 5-0-1 run for the on the spread streak. So you got a team on a spread streak playing a lot better the final 6 weeks. Our last 4 weeks AGG play is to take Baylor -1.5 over LSU, and that's right here. And you can see here it's a last 4 weeks play. The last 4 weeks plays 92-64 over the last 2 years. So if it's green and it's a best bet, it's 92-64 for that. And speaking of that, you see this one loss here, Ohio, makes me want to get a little philosophical. And what I mean by that is when I watch these games, now, as I mentioned, I put my best things in the press box every week, and then the next best come into the Phil Steele Plus. Well, I actually, my mood swings based on how the games are going. And a Phil Steele Plus play is just as important to me as a press box play. I want to win them all. So I'm watching the Ohio game, and we'll go here and take a look at, when you come over here, you get the box score for the game and click on it. I'm watching the Ohio game. This was a very happy game for me. We put it out on the press box, or on the tour last week. Ohio was -4. The entire game, I'm happy. We're up 7-0. We're up 14-0. We're up 20-7. We're up 27-7 at the half. This thing's a winner. We got no problems with it. We're up 30-14 in the fourth quarter. Winner, no problem. Look at this. Jacksonville State comes down, gets a couple of scores, and all of a sudden we only win by 3. So in the 3.5 hours of the game, I had 3 hours and 15 minutes of happiness. And then at the end of the game, it's a loss. So my question to you is, would you rather have 3 hours and 15 minutes where your team is losing the whole game and you're miserable, but you win at the end? Or would you rather have 3 hours and 15 minutes of just pure happiness? You picked the right team. They're winning the entire game. You've got the thing locked up and sealed. And then at just 15 minutes of agony at the end where you lose. Now, I know most of you are going to say, probably, it wins and losses is what depends. But when you watch these games, and when I watch as many games as I do during the course, and I watch every single bowl game during the course of the season, I'm watching 12 games at a time, you need a little happiness in your life. So the Ohio game to me wasn't a horrible loss because at least for 3 hours and 15 minutes, I was very happy knowing I picked the right side. It just didn't turn out that way at the end. But that shows you not all your games are going to win. And when you take a look at the schedule here, you see that was one of the losses for these last 4 weeks, 92 and 64. All right, let's pick another last 4 weeks game. So for this one, we're going to go with Penn State is playing Boise this week. And Penn State's laying 10.5 points to Boise State. So we put the two teams here. Penn State over the last 4 weeks, they did lose to Oregon, but that's a pretty good game when you outgained the number one team in the country. Oregon 515 to 486, had a 28 to 24 first down edge. Look at what their margins are over here. They're playing to an HEG of 124.5 over the last 4 weeks of the season. That even includes this Minnesota game, which wasn't a great game, but it was on the road. They ended up winning it by 3. They did have an 80-yard edge. Now we take a look at Boise, and over the last 4 weeks, the San Jose State game was bad. They gave up 446 yards rushing or passing. It was a game I won with press box with Boise State, but I was fortunate. They got a late touchdown, and they won the game by 21. Wyoming, they only won by 4, Oregon State by 16, and then UNLV by 14. As you see here, they're only playing to an average game grade of 103. So that right there is Penn State by 21.5. And if we take a look at the schedule with numbers, which I like to use here, we've got Penn State, the plus-minus has them by 17. They've got the much tougher strength of schedule, 41. The last 4 weeks AGG is 23.5. It's a 3 best bet play. This tells you up here what the record was last week. This tells you what the record is for the year, and this tells you what the 2-year record was. Now, here it's only been up 1 year. We only put it up mid-season. It's gone 64 and 47 whenever it gets a best bet. We got a 3 best bet here on Penn State, and what that does, it takes the best bets from all these columns, and you can see the records. 90 and 67 for the strength of schedule play, 92 and 64 here, and this is 99 and 73. It's a 3 best bet play, so that comes over here, and it is Penn State. So that's your third play, and let's get to your fourth play, and we're going to take a look at Virginia Tech against Minnesota, and we're going to put Virginia Tech on the left and Minnesota on the right. Now, P.J. Fleck has had a really good record in bowl games, but take a look at this. The last 2 years, the Bowling Green game, they won and covered, but they were actually outgained in the game. And 2 years ago, they won and they covered against Syracuse, but once again, they were outgained by 262 yards. So it's not dominating performances. They've been wins on the scoreboard. And when we take a look at this one, if we take a look at the schedule with numbers, the schedule with numbers has a 4 best bet on Virginia Tech. Plus-minus power ratings have Virginia Tech by 2. The current average game grade has Virginia Tech by 5.3. The last 4 weeks AGG is Virginia Tech. And over here, Virginia Tech on the year is plus 11 in conference play. Minnesota 0. Minnesota's a 7.5 point favorite, so you're getting over a touchdown with Virginia Tech. Another thing I like in bowl games is when you get a team that's 6-6, like Virginia Tech is, that game's important to them. Why? Because if they win the game, you can go 7-6. You have a winning season and a winning bowl. If you lose the game, even though you made a bowl, you had a losing season, 6-7. I tend to see a lot of the 6-6 teams do well in bowl games. So we got that going for us as well. It's a 4 best bet selection on the schedule. And a lot of the factors are pointing out and saying that if you look here over the last 4 weeks, they've played to 108.3 level. Minnesota has played to a 91.7 level over the last 4 weeks. So what we've got is Virginia Tech. By the way, Kyler Jones didn't play. Pop Watson looked really good in their last game. If you take a look at the individual leaders, William Watson, Pop Watson, 14 of 21, 254 against Virginia. So even if Jones is out still, I like what Watson brings to the table. He may battle for the starting job next year, so that's a nice advantage for them. So you're wrong team favored. We're going to take Virginia Tech plus 7.5 over Minnesota. Well, I want to wish you guys a happy new year. I'll be back with you after the new year with the final round of the bowls. There's 4 selections for you. Let's hope we have a nice winning week here for the tour. Let's hope we have a nice winning week for the press box. And I'd like to take this time to thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour with me today.